everybody. All right, so this is day 10 of Budget Watch 2017. As I said yesterday, it's really closer to like day 94, 95 because we've been dealing with this all session. And yet here we are, just a few days left. So what I heard today is that the legislature has until the 16th to get things out of committee, revenue measures out of committee. They have to pass both chambers by the 19th, which is next Friday. So we've got 7.5 days to get some real revenue passed. We had heard today that the cigarette tax might be on the House floor. It was on the agenda. I don't know that's still the case. Some rumors that it might be pulled again because they don't have the votes. And I think what I hear so often from regular folks, and increasingly from legislators, is people just want to see this stuff go to a vote. A lot of folks will say they won't vote for it, but what happens when you put it on the floor? Either if it doesn't pass, you can still run it again. There's nothing that says they can't reformulate it or put it out there again and have it run. They could reconsider the vote and have it run again. Likewise, if it does pass, great, then we know where folks stand. Also, I think the public wants to know, perhaps has a right to know, who it is that's not supporting this directly. Everything I've still heard today from being here at the Capitol, and again today is our Capitol Day, is that a lot of measures will pass the House but will not pass the Senate. And in fact, a state rep told someone I'm very close to today that there's really no sense, even though this House rep supported it, there's no sense in discussing the gross production tax because the Senate won't support it. So what that tells me is you need to get out there and call your senators and let them know how you feel. For me personally, I happen to support increasing the gross production tax. It's a huge part of the SOS budgets. And furthermore, I guarantee that there is no solution to this state budget crisis that does not include an increase in the gross production tax. Honestly, one of my biggest fears right now is that they're going to pass $500 million in revenue and then go home. And we're going to be $400 million short of even breaking even with what we need to get by. That is not just are we going to forego investing in stuff, we're going to still have cuts to every agency. They may end up being not 15%, but like 5 to 7% cuts. I'll tell you what, the hard deal, 5% by itself, maybe it's not that big of a deal, except it's not just 5%. A lot of these aid agencies got cuts of 10, 15, 30% last year. A lot of them got cuts even the year before that. So it's not just a 5% cut. It's 5% this year on top of 15% last year on top of 10% the year before that. All these kids from Millwood that are driving off right now, they were here this morning doing their advocates. Today was Child Advocacy Day. And I'll tell you what, if you don't know anything about Millwood, it's a district and a part of town that tends to have a much lower socioeconomic status kind of baseline. There's a lot of these kids that rely on state services for maybe for food, maybe for housing, maybe for other services. So I'm glad that they're here. They showed up. I'm sure it was a field trip. But man, next year, how awesome would it be if we got all these districts to coordinate their field trips on like Child Advocacy Day, the day that we're all supposed to be here advocating for kids if we got folks up here. I tell you what, any legislator who will look in the eyes of a child from their district and say, I'm not going to vote for money that would save your life, or make sure you have food on the table at night, or make sure you've got a teacher in your classroom, that legislator doesn't need to be in office. I'll say it. If you live in that district and your legislator is voting against these kinds of things, you should highly consider voting for somebody else that will. You really need to put your money where your mouth is. And if you are so sick of it you want to run for office, man, I applaud you. There are a lot of folks out there that I'm hearing rumblings of like, you know what, I'm going to run against this guy. Also, if you are already planning to run, please come up here. And if you haven't yet met the incumbent, I want to see you come up here and meet him and just shake their hand and say, hey, great, I live in your district and I'm running against you next year or in a few years. I want to see those face-to-face confrontations. So both the House and the Senate are in session right now. The Senate canceled their stuff this morning and rescheduled it, so they didn't even come in. A lot of them weren't even here. I heard some reports of folks that went to go try to visit them, saw them in the office, and they dodged them. And there was constituents in their districts, and that is just depressing and sad. So my senator's in here, and I haven't even met him since I moved recently, and I'm going to go in there and try to pull him off the floor and see if he'll come out and shake my hand and say hi. I have a feeling we disagree about a lot of things, but we can still talk, right? We're still humans, we're still adults, and I've emailed him, but I haven't met him face to face, and that's what we do. Today's our Capitol Day. It's a good day to go in and try to have that conversation. So for all of our advocates and friends that are in the Capitol right now, please continue to tweet, to Facebook, to text, to email, whatever it is. I know that we had about 150 people this morning, and from what I saw online just a minute ago, there's probably 20 to 50, depending on where they're all at in the building still. So great, let's all get together and meet some of these folks and continue to put the pressure on to get things like gross production tax, cigarette tax, whatever it is. There's a lot of options that they need to put to a vote. We got to see them vote on this. We hired you. We elected you to come up here to debate and to cast votes. And so my message for leadership in the House and Senate, Speaker McCall, Senate Pro Tem Schultz, Greg Treat, everybody else that's out there, if you happen to hear this message, or someone send them a message, tweet at them, email them right now, and say, hey, Andy with Let's Fix This wants to see this stuff for a vote. And I do too. So whoever you are, put your name in there too. Encourage these folks to put stuff to the vote. I know there's a lot of folks in both the House and Senate that want to see it go to the floor vote. So people have to vote, red or green, up or down. They got to put their name on the board that says that they do or do not support some of these measures. Saying that you do or do not support a measure arguably means you do or do not support the future of Oklahoma. All right. Hey, don't forget, so we'll be here this afternoon. Don't forget tonight at 7 o'clock. We're going to be down the street, down 23rd here at Rockford Cocktail Den at 7 o'clock. Come on, let's hang out. Lord knows that we could all use perhaps an adult beverage or a club soda after kind of what's been going on up here. Also, on a weather note, might have some storms rolling in around that time, so stay weather aware. Check your weather apps. It's starting to sprinkle on me right now. It's a good thing I'm wearing a life vest so I don't float away. All right, have a good afternoon. Good luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow.